Before you become unbreakable, you must understand that life's tests reveal the heartbreaks. Moments you feel invisible, not happening to destroy you but happening to awaken you. You have not met her yet. There is a woman inside you who is wiser, stronger, and more grounded than the one you are right now. A woman who does not chase approval. A woman alone in herself with dignity. Further, most people will never become because they never learn how to rise through the breaks. You are already in your transformation. This is not a video about being perfect. This is about becoming. Becoming the standard while the world tries to pull her apart. Becoming an unshakable journey. Lesson 1. Unbreakable learning comes from learning to walk alone before life ever gives you support. Created when things are going well, when people are standing by. In moments of discovery, the cable of walking alone means isolating yourself, rejecting the people who care about you. It means learning to stand on your own emotional and spiritual feet. It is understanding you depend on people for constant validation, direction, because the truth is, people are unpredictable. They come and go. Their moods change. Their loyalty changes. Their ability to support you changes. If your strength depends on them, then your strength is never truly yours. A woman becomes powerful the moment she stops waiting for someone to tell her she is worthy, loved, beautiful, and capable. She stops relying on the world to approve of her decisions and applaud her efforts. Instead, she builds her confidence from within. She sets her own direction. She listens to her own voice. She trusts her own judgment, because she has seen herself survive moments she thought would break her. Solitude becomes her teacher, not her enemy. Many fear being alone because they associate it with rejection or abandonment. But solitude, when embraced correctly, becomes the training ground for clarity. When you are alone, you hear your own thoughts without interruption. You understand your emotions without distortion. Inner guidance. You begin to see what truly matters and what never did. When a woman learns to be comfortable in her own company, she becomes difficult to manipulate. She no longer stays in relationships out of fear. She no longer tolerates disrespect because she is afraid of being alone. She no longer lowers her standards just to feel accepted. She seeks what she must. Confidence. Her unbreakable world cannot break a woman who knows how to stand by herself, because even if she loses everything, she still has herself. And that is enough. Every disappointment, every moment of loneliness, becomes a stepping stone that strengthens her instead of weakening her. Once you learn to stand holding over because you have learned how to lift yourself, that is the beginning of becoming unshakable. Lesson 2. You become the best when you master your emotions. A woman becomes truly powerful the moment she realizes that her emotions are not her enemies. They are signals, not commands. They are messengers, not masters. The problem begins when emotions are allowed to control actions, decisions, and reactions. The woman who learns to understand her emotions instead of being driven by them becomes the woman no one can intimidate, manipulate, or destabilize. Mastering your emotions does not mean suppressing them and pretending they do not exist. It means giving yourself permission to feel everything but choosing carefully how you respond. Anyone can react. Reacting is easy, automatic, and often destructive. Responding, on the other hand, requires awareness. It requires self-control. It requires wisdom. And wisdom is what separates a powerful one from a fragile one. When you master your emotions, you stop saying things you later regret. You stop acting out of anger, panic, insecurity. You stop letting temporary feelings create permanent consequences. You begin to think clearly even when the situation around you feels chaotic. You become the calm one in the room, and the calm one always holds the power. Truth is, people will test you. Life will challenge you. Situations will push your buttons. Not because life is cruel, but because those moments reveal areas you need to grow. Every time someone provokes you, you are given a chance to strengthen your emotional intelligence. Every time you feel overwhelmed, you are given a chance to build inner stability. Time feels, you are given chances to patience, clarity, self-respect. Her emotions, like a ship without an anchor, she gets pulled in every direction by her environment, by other people's opinions, by pressure, by stress, by fear. But an amazing woman herself, to remain grounded, cannot be shaken by storms. She may feel the waves, but she will not sink. Emotional stability also protects your relationships. You begin to communicate with honesty without accusation, clarity instead of frustration, and with confidence instead of insecurity. You no longer demand that people fix your feelings. You take responsibility for your emotional state, And responsibility gives you tremendous power. Most importantly, mastering your emotions protects yourself. You stop letting people's words define, disturb in negativity. You become more focused, more intentional, more resilient. Making decisions to carry yourself with dignity, because you are no longer your emotions' servant. A woman becomes in control of her destiny. She chooses her actions, her tone, her boundaries, and her path with wisdom. She becomes known not just for her beauty and her presence, but for her steady mind and her grounded heart. And that is what makes her unshakable. Lesson 3. Your value comes from your standards, not your beauty. Many women are taught from young to how they look. Society pressures beauty, appearance, style, and perfection. But the reality is simple. Beauty moments stand. Standards determine whether they respect you, stay loyal to you, and treat you with dignity. Your standards are the rules you set for your life. They decide what you accept, what you reject, and what you refuse to tolerate. A woman with strong standards is not arrogant or demanding. She is aware of her value. She knows what she brings to the table. She knows what she deserves, and she will not settle for less, even if she has to stand alone. Beauty fades, changes, and evolves over time. But a woman's standards remain the foundation of her character. When you have standards, you do not allow disrespect in any form. You do not entertain people who drain your energy. You do not stay in places where your worth is questioned. Instead, you walk away firmly, knowing that your peace is more valuable than anyone's temporary attention. Standards protect you from heartbreak. They save you from choosing relationships that damage your self-esteem. They prevent you from giving second chances to people who have already shown you who they are. When a woman respects herself deeply, others have no choice but to respect her as well. If they don't, she removes herself, because she honors her dignity. A woman without standards becomes easy to take advantage of. She becomes the woman people expect to tolerate anything because she fears being alone and unloved. But a woman with standards sends a clear message. I choose myself first. And choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. It is the strongest form of self-love. Your standards also shape the quality of your life. They determine the kind of friendships you keep, the career you pursue, the boundaries you hold, the habits you build, and the people you near your heart. When your standards rise, parts of your life rise with them. You attract higher quality people because your energy and expectations are higher. You attract your self-respect. You find peace because you are protected consistently. A woman with strong standards does not chase anyone. She does not force effort. She does not stay where she is not. She becomes deeply selective, not out of pride but out of wisdom. She understands she deserves access to her time, her heart, and her life. The world may value beauty, but it is the standards that make the most respected women are not the most perfect. Way to accept less than they. When you carry yourself with dignity, people feel it. When you set boundaries, people notice. When you enforce boundaries, people learn. Your beauty catches their eye, but your standards what will teach them how to treat you. And that is where your true value lies. Lesson 4. You become powerful when you stop explaining yourself. One of the greatest shifts in a woman's life happens the moment she realizes she no longer needs explanation for who she is, what she chooses, and how she decides to grow. Women who constantly explain herself becomes exhausted, misunderstood, and easily controlled. But a woman who moves with quiet certainty becomes unshakable. Most women are conditioned to make themselves understandable, agreeable, and acceptable to others. They feel the need to justify their decisions so no one gets offended. They feel pressure to explain their silence so no one feels ignored. They feel they must explain boundaries. People think they are difficult. To explain someone who needs to explain. You change circles, change your goals, change your habits, change your life. Does not need permission. Healing does not require explanation. Silence does not require justification. When you stop explaining yourself, you shift from living for others' judgment. People understand your but how your choice. People who demand explanation, not because they care but because your change threatens their comfort. They want to know why you are not the same woman. They influence and manipulate. They want to know why you are no longer available at their convenience. They want to know why you suddenly have boundaries. Your growth intimidates those who benefited from your old patterns. A powerful woman understands this, and she does not waste energy trying to make her evolution comfortable for others. She knows that those who truly respect her will support her decisions without needing lengthy explanations. And those who do not respect her will never be satisfied no matter how much she explains. Becoming her strength. Not because she has something to hide, but because she chooses peace over pointless conversation. She guards her time, her mind, and her emotions by refusing to justify move she makes. She understands that explanation invites debate and debate invites doubt. He does not cipher pull you. You become unpredictable to those who control you. You become distant, distracted. You begin to confidence making decisions your own rather than the expectation of others. And most importantly, you protect your dignity. You learn your life, your responsibility. Public discussions are your even if else them. You learn you do not need to prove yourself to anyone, only to yourself. A woman meaning herself becomes a finally belongs to herself. That is where real power begins. Lesson 5. Healing is your real superpower. Healing is the most underrated form of strength. Acting emotions deep inside but the truth far more profound. A woman becomes truly unbreakable not by ignoring pain, but by facing it, understanding it, and rising from it. Healing is not a straight path. It is a journey that often feels lonely, confusing, and heavy. It requires you to confront those experiences, losses, changes you, and the mistakes you. Most people avoid this inner work because it feels uncomfortable. But a powerful woman knows nothing grows in avoidance. Growth only happens in truth. When you choose to heal, you choose to stop bleeding into your future. You stop letting old pain control your reactions, your emotional patterns. You quiet-spoken people deserve healing. It is about owning it. It does not define it. It is about extracting lessons from disappointment, from painful beginnings never expected. When she realizes her different powerful, she no longer seeks someone else's approval. She no longer relationships her. She no longer silent about healing her. She does not have to accept pain as a normal part of love, life, and connection. Healing also your version. A woman who has faced her becomes more aware, more intelligent emotionally, and more grounded. She recognizes red flags early. She feels when energy wrong. She senses misalignment because she learns inner voice. Most importantly, healing gives you peace. Not the temporary peace comes from distraction and denial, but the deep, quiet peace comes from finally understanding yourself. You stop fighting battles that no longer matter. You stop holding on to people who have already let go. You stop reopening doors that lead to the same pain. You learn to let go gracefully because you know your heart is no longer a battlefield. Healing also brings self-compassion. You begin to forgive yourself for the moments you did know better. For the times you stayed too long. For the times you loved too deeply. And for the days you could not be strong. You realize your softness was never a weakness. It was a sign of your capacity to feel, care, and love. Protect superpower to break. She becomes confident without arrogance, without inference, and strong without hardness. She knows how to love without losing herself. She knows how to without fear. She knows how to rebuild herself again and again. Healing does not make you perfect. It makes you whole. What allows you to step into the world with a steady heart, a clear mind, and an unshakable spirit. Pain may have shaped you, but healing is what will define you. This is why healing is your real superpower. Because once you heal, nothing that once broke you will ever have power over you again. Lesson 6. Faith gives you a strength the world cannot touch. There is a kind of strength that cannot be taught by books, experience, and motivational words. It is a strength, confidence, success, personality connect. Because her strength rooted in the world, it is rooted in something far greater. Faith gives you the ability to stand when everything around you feels like it is falling apart. It gives you the courage to take the next step even when the path ahead is completely dark. It teaches you that life is not a series of random events, but a carefully written plan designed to shape you, protect you. A woman is not strong because her life is easy. She is strong because she believes every difficulty carries purpose. She trusts divine wisdom. She understands that every unanswered prayer is answered differently, one that she may not understand yet, but one she will eventually appreciate. Surrender, clarity, and heartbreak into awakening. When you rely on the world, you will always feel unstable because the world changes. People change. Change support changes. But when your strength comes from your Creator, you become no matter who leaves, who doubts, helps let go, knee break. Because daily to things only to be less. Strength teaches you to release. You trust what feels right and believe what is written for you will never pass you by. It teaches you sometimes losing something is actually protection from harm you. You seen with quiet of confidence. She to scream her strength her. She luxity patience. She never bend. She understands her struggles shape heart. her spirit in her for something better. Her strength, but it is unshakable. Guards your heart from fear. When you believe God in control, its power about. Become hold because already journey because timing perfect in. The difficult to break emotionally. She may cry, she feels exhausted, she questions herself, but she never loses her core. Deep down she knows she is not alone. She's setback is temporary, and every hardship is followed by her resilience. Not built on ego. It is built on trust. Faith also raises your standards. You stop entertaining relationships that weaken your spirit. You stop tolerating environments that damage your peace. You stop participating in things that disconnect you from your values. Faith becomes your filter, your compass, your protection boundary. Remind you yours not defined by people but by God and purpose. And the most beautiful part of faith is this. It gives you peace even when nothing in your life makes sense. You no longer fight reality. You no longer panic over outcomes. You no longer feel the need to control everything. You surrender without giving up. You trust without fear. This it be shake loss, rejection, hardship. It be taken by anyone. Rose test pass you. Wipe Andrew woman with not just she untouchable. His strength comes from heaven. A calmness comes from trust. And light no darkness can dim. That is the strength the world cannot touch. If you have made it this far, understand this. You are no longer the woman you were when you pressed play. Every lesson you just heard has awakened a deeper strength inside you. A strength that cannot be taken, shaken, or broken. You now know how to walk alone with confidence. You know how to master your emotions instead of being ruled by them. You know your value is measured by your standards, appearance. You know you're not the world explanation. You know healing is the weapon sets you free. And you know that faith gives you power the world. This is the beginning of your rise. Right now, if this reaches you, if they remind you you are who you are meant to become, then don't leave silently. Subscribe, never like this videos it with another woman who needs to hear. You just discovered your transformation has already started. Now step into the world as the woman no one can break.